Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Zuharto M. Madali and my assigned topic is all about borderline personality disorder. So what is BPD or borderline personality disorder? So kapag sinasabi nating borderline personality disorder is isa siyang mental health condition ng isang tao that affects the way people feel about themselves and others. So making it hard to function in everyday life. So includes na dito yung mga pattern of unstable, intense relationship as well as yung impulsiveness and an unhealthy way of seeing themselves. So kapag sinasabi nating impulsiveness, so involved na dito yung pagkakaroon ng extreme emotions and acting or doing things without thinking about them first. So yung mga taong merong borderline personality disorder, so meron silang mga strong fear of abandonment or being left alone. So even though they want to have loving and lasting relationships, so the fear of being abandoned often leads to mood swing and anger. So it also leads to impulsiveness and self-injury that may push other ways. So in addition to that, so ang borderline personality disorders is usually nag-start siya by early adulthood. So the condition is most serious in young adulthood. So ang mood swings, anger and impulsiveness often get better with age. So but the main issues of self-image and fear of being abandoned as well as relationship issues go on. So if you have a borderline personality disorder, so know that many people with this condition get better with treatment. So our clinicians generally agree that clients with diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, BPD, are challenging and difficult to treat. So it means yung mga tao daw na may mga case na ganito or condition na ganito is challenging siya in terms of treatment. So hindi siya totally madaling gamutin, pero there's some treatment pa rin na applicable sa ganitong mga case. So here's the treatment. So as you can see, ito yung mga treatment na applicable sa ganitong mga condition or case. So the first one here is psychodynamic, and the second one is psychopharmacological, and the third one is cognitive behavioral. So, ang psychodynamic is nakapokus siya sa unconscious mental processes and internal forces that drive human behavior, emotions, and personality. So, they emphasize the importance of childhood experiences and refresh desire in shaping an individual's mental health and relationship. So, in addition to that, psychodynamic approaches help us or help the clients understand how unconscious conflicts and unresolved issues from the past can impact their present day lives. So, many of our actions and reactions are driven by forces we're not consciously aware of. So, for example, there's someone struggling with anxiety in social situation. Then, ang psychodynamic approaches dito might help explore their childhood experiences. So perhaps they experience frequent criticism or rejection from a parent, leading to an unconscious belief that they are unworthy of acceptance. So this belief, even if not consciously acknowledged, might manifest as social anxiety. So, ang ginagawa ng therapy dito would nag-focus sila to helping the clients understand these unconscious beliefs. So, they process the past experiences and develop healthier coping mechanism. So, ang goal nila dito is not just to manage the anxiety symptoms but to address the underlying beliefs driving them. Okay, so the next one is psychopharmacological. So there's some reviews of literature regarding drug treatments for BPD highlights a dilemma for the prescribing pharmacotherapy. So BPD involves dysregulation into many domains for a single drug to serve as panacea. So in general, research indicates that several agents may be useful for improving global functioning, cognitive, perceptual symptoms. So in short, ang psychopharmacological is isa siyang study of the effects of drugs on mind and behavior ng isang client. So it is also a powerful tool in mental health care. So in addition to that, ang psychopharmacological daw ay isa siyang treatments work primary by altering neurotransmitter system in the brain. So there's a different medication target different neurotransmitters, so like serotonin, dopamine, and etc. And there's also a receptor. So this alteration can lead to changes in mood, cognition, behavior, and other aspect of mental functioning ng isang client. So like for example, so there's a client may struggling with consistently taking prescribed medication due to side effects, stigma, or underlying beliefs about medication. So ang ginagawa ng mga therapists natin dito is they work with the clients to explore this concern through talk therapy. So they provide psychoeducation about medications, purpose, and potential side effects ng isang medication na ginatek nila. And they also developing strategies to improve adherence. So this might involve problem-solving techniques to manage side effects, cognitive restrictions, to address negative beliefs ng isang clients, or exploring the emotional roots of resistance to medications. And the last treatment approaches dito is cognitive behavioral. So treatment of BPD has received increasing attention from cognitive and behavioral theory. So the cognitive approach views the problems of the clients with BPD as residing within both the content and the process of the individual's thoughts. So ang main goal lang naman ni cognitive behavioral dito is to empower clients to take control of their mental health by modifying their thoughts and behavior. So they change the negative behaviors of our clients into a positive. So like for example, so there's someone or there's a person na gi-invite sa isang party. So ang negative thoughts ni clients dito is kumbaga parang napipil niya na kumbaga out of place siya, parang napipil niya na everyone will think I am boring and awkward. So ang ginagawa ni therapist dito is tinutulungan niya si clients to change those negative na ginaisip niya into positive. So yun lang naman ang rule mean dito. Okay, here's the evidence for DBT as an effective BPD treatment. So DBT evolved from standard cognitive behavioral therapy as a treatment for BPD, particular for recurrently suicidal, severely dysfunctional adults. The theoretical orientation to treatment is a blend of three theoretical positions. The first one is behavioral science, dialectical philosophy, and Zen practice. So behavioral science, the principle of behavior change, is countered by acceptance of the client's with techniques drawn both from Zen and from Western contemplative practice. So these falls are balanced within the dialectical framework. So overall, ang dialectical behavior therapy is isa siyang comprehensive and effective treatment para sa may mga condition na tulad ng borderline personality disorder. So dahil combination siya ng gina-educate mo yung isang client, and also you also teach them how to change the negative behavior na meron sila into positive. So here's the efficacy. So although As described earlier, several treatments have demonstrated efficacy in the treatment of people diagnosed with BPD or borderline personality disorder. So, ang dialectical behavior therapy has the most empirical support at present and is generally considered the frontline treatment for disorders. So, yung ability pa lang ng treatment na to produce a desired effect is doon pa lang is alam na natin na effective si dialectical. So, they also decrease the suicidal behaviors ng isang clients. So with that is very simple. So, alam na natin na effective si dialectical behavior therapy or DBT. So, in addition to that, we also have evidence for DBT as an effective treatment for emotion dysregulation. So, as noted earlier, many mental disorders, including borderline personality disorder, can be conceptualized as disorders of emotion regulation with deficit in both emotion up regulation and down regulation. So, for example, there's a theory have proposed that MDD should be conceptualized as an emotion dysregulation disorder based partly on deficit in upregulating and maintaining positive emotions. So, we all know naman na si dialectical behavior therapy or DBT is isa siyang structured evidence-based psychotherapy designed to help individuals manage intense emotions, build healthier relationships, and develop effective coping mechanisms for distress. So, it was originally developed to treat borderline personality disorder or itong BPD. So, which is characterized siya by extreme emotional dysregulation. So, however, itong dialectical behavior therapy, since proven siya highly effective in treating a wide array of psychological conditions involving emotional dysregulation, including na dito yung anxiety disorder, depression, eating disorder, and post-traumatic disorders. So, doon pa lang is alam na natin or andun na yung evidence niya as an effective treatment for emotional dysregulations. Okay, proceed tayo dito sa philosophical basis, dialectics. So, the term dialectics in the context of DBT encompasses two aspects: a fundamental understanding of reality and a method of persuasive dialogue and relationship building. So, the overview of reality underlying DBT acknowledges the inherent tension between opposing forces, which is itong acceptance and change. So, for examples, life according to this view is not a static entity but a dynamic process characterized by constant flux and interplay of contradictory elements. So, this is not merely a theoretical position, so it's a practical considerations influencing how therapists approach their clients' problems. So, the therapeutic process acknowledges the validity of the client's current situation while simultaneously striving towards positive change. So, the second aspect of dialectics in DBT, so involves na dito yung methods of persuasive dialogue. So, this is not a simple conversation. So, it's a carefully constructed therapeutic interactions designed to facilitate change. So, the therapists act as a guide helping the clients navigate their internal contradictions and identify solutions that synthesize opposing perspectives. So, this process requires a high degree of empathy and skillful communication. So, ang aiming nito is to validate the client's feelings while simultaneously challenging adaptive behaviors and thoughts patterns. So, ang goal nito is not to pace or force resolutions but to guide the clients toward a more integrated and empowering understanding of their situations. So, according dito, ang DBT is based on a dialectical worldview that emphasizes wholeness, interrelatedness, and process or change as fundamental characteristic of reality. So, when we say wholeness is particularly crucial siya. So, kasi this principle rejects the reductionist approach of viewing individuals in isolations. So instead, it advocates for understanding the individuals within their complex social and environmental context. While ang interconnected naman dito is gina-emphasize siya by DBT underscores the interconnectedness of various aspects of a person's life, including na dito yung emotions, thoughts, behaviors, and relationship are not independent entities but are mutually influencing components of a dynamic system. And the third one dito is yung characteristic ng process or change. So dito naman gina-highlights dito yung inherent dynamism of reality. So the dialectical worldview recognizes that change is constant and inevitable. So this dynamic perspective guides the therapist to view the client's current state not as a fixed point but as a stage in an ongoing process. So, from the point of view of dialogue and relationship, so the dialectics refers to change by persuasion and by making use of the oppositions inherent the therapeutic relationship rather than by formal impersonal logic. So, through the therapeutic opposition of contradictory positions, both clients and therapists can arrive at new meanings within old meanings. Okay, so proceed tayo dito sa dialectical case conceptualization. So, dito, dialectical assumptions influence case conceptualization in DBT in a number of ways. So, the first one is dialectics suggests that a psychological disorder is based, conceptualized as a systemic dysfunction characterized by number one, defining the disorder with respect to normal functioning. Number two, assuming continuity between health and the disorder. So number 3, and assuming that the disorder results from multiple rather than single causes. So, in addition to that, ang dialectical case conceptualization rejects the simplistic notion of single causes for psychological disorders. So, instead, it assumes that disorders stem from multiple interacting factors, including na dito yung biological predispositions, psychological vulnerabilities, and also yung social stressors and environmental influences. So, this acknowledges the complexity of human behavior and recognizes that a multitude of factors contribute to the development and maintenance of psychological distress. So, it promotes a collaborative relationship with the clients, involving them in the process of understanding their own experiences and developing personalized strategies for change. So, this collaborative approach respects the client's unique perspective and fosters a sense of empowerment. Okay, now proceed tayo dito sa biosocial theory of Lenny Hans Marcia. So, this biosocial theory offers a comprehensive framework for understanding borderline personality disorder or BPD. So, positing that the core pathology lies in a dysfunction of the emotion regulation system. So, the theory's central argument is that BPD is not simply a collection of symptoms or a matter of definition, but rather a fundamental dysfunction in how individuals regulate their emotions. So, this dysfunction affects both positive and negative emotions ng isang clients. So, impacting the individual's ability to modulate emotional responses, resulting in intense emotional reactions and slow return to the emotional baseline. So, Linehan's perspective views behavioral patterns associated with BPD as functional responses to these underlying emotional dysregulations. So they also directly related to the difficulty regulating emotions or unavoidable consequences of the intense emotional experiences. So this biosocial theory integrates biological and social factors. So the biological aspect focuses on emotional vulnerability, which Linehan conceptualizes as high sensitivity to emotional stimuli, intense emotional responses, and a slow return to the emotional baseline. So this highlight sensitivity and intensity of emotional experiences create a significant challenges in regulating emotions. So the social aspect acknowledges the significant role of the environment in shaping an individual's emotional experiences and coping mechanisms. Individuals with BPT often have a history of invalidating environments, so that environments where their emotional expressions and experiences are not understood, accepted, or validated. So these experiences further contributes to the development and maintenance of emotional dysregulation ng isang clients. So, ang main goal lang naman ng theory na ito is to provide a comprehensive understanding of the complex interplay of biological and social factors in borderline personality disorder. So, it is also emphasizing the central role of emotion dysregulations. So, this understanding is crucial for developing effective treatment strategies. So, by recognizing the emotional vulnerability and the impact of invalidating environments, so therapists can develop interventions that address both the biological and social aspect of the disorder, so fostering skills to manage emotional experiences effectively. So the invalidating environments under the biosocial theory of borderline personality disorder posits that the disorder arises from an interactions between a biological vulnerability to emotion dysregulation and the presence of invalidating environments during development. So the theory acknowledges that not everyone with a biological predisposition to emotional dysregulation develops borderline personality disorder. It is a crucial factor, according to the theory, is the nature of environment in which the individual develops. The theory also emphasizes the transactional relationship between biological vulnerability and environmental influence, suggesting that a particular type of environment, an invalidating environment, is also necessary for the full expression of borderline personality disorder. Okay, now let's proceed to dialectical dilemmas. So these dilemmas, also known as secondary targets, represent key challenges that must be addressed for successful treatment. So Linehan conceptualizes dialectical dilemmas as behaviors that are dichotomized into three dimensions. So these dimensions reflect to complex interplay between biological vulnerabilities and learned behaviors shaped by invalidating environments. So, at one end of each dimension lies behavior that is most directly influenced biologically, stemming from deficits in emotion regulations. So, at the other end lies behaviors that has been socially reinforced within invalidating environments. So this also highlights the inherent tension in borderline personality disorder between behaviors rooted in biological predisposition and behaviors learned as coping mechanism in dysfunctional environments. So ang unang dimension dito is itong emotion vulnerability. So as you can see in the picture, so the first one dito is emotion vulnerability. So one pole represent unrelenting crisis, so reflecting the heightened emotional reflectivity associated with BPD or borderline personality disorder. So the other pole represents active passivity, a learned behavior where the individual avoids taking action to resolve their problems, so often due to a history of invalidation and punishment for assertiveness. So ang second dito is itong self-invalidation. So this role represents apparent competence, a facade of functionality masking underlying emotional distress. So the other fall here is inhibited grieving, demonstrating the difficulties in processing and expressing emotions due to past invalidation of emotional experiences. And the last one dito is itong active passive. So one fall naman dito is represent active behavior such as impulsive actions or self-harm. So as attempts to regulate overwhelming emotions. So the other fall naman dito is represent passive behavior such as avoidance and withdrawal as coping mechanism. So that ultimately perpetuate the cycle of emotional distress. So these dialectical dilemmas are not simply individual behaviors but represent patterns of behavior that create significant obstacles to a treatment. So they also often interfere with the client's ability to engage in therapy, to learn and apply new skills, and to achieve lasting change. So it is also addressing these dilemmas is crucial because they represent maladaptive coping strategies that have been reinforced over time. So hindering the individual ability to develop healthier ways of managing intense emotion and navigating interpersonal relationships. So that's the end of my report po. Thank you.